There are moments in life when you pause and ask yourself a simple yet profound question. Is this person truly meant to be in my life? And I'm not just referring to romantic partners. This question extends far beyond that to friendships, professional collaborations, mentorships, and even those serendipitous connections that seem to arrive just when you need them most. But how do you know if someone is truly aligned with your path, your energy, your deeper self? The renowned psychologist Carl Jung spent much of his life exploring the mysteries of the unconscious mind and how it subtly but powerfully shapes our relationships. For Jung, nothing was ever mere coincidence. The people who come into our lives don't just wander in by chance. More often than not, they are mirrors, reflections of inner dynamics we haven't yet brought to the surface. Have you ever met someone and felt an immediate, almost inexplicable connection? Perhaps you couldn't fully explain it, but something about their presence, maybe their energy, their words, or the way they look at the world, just clicked. It felt magical, familiar. Jung would call this synchronicity, a meaningful alignment between your inner world and outer circumstances. It's as if the universe is gently nudging you, saying, "Pay attention, this person matters." But how do we separate true alignment from temporary illusion? How can we tell when a connection is authentic, or when it's merely a projection of something we want to see? This is where the unconscious becomes key. Jung believed that every relationship we have acts as a mirror to our internal state. If you find yourself repeatedly drawn into relationships that leave you feeling drained, unworthy, or anxious, it's not just bad luck. It's a signal, a call from deep within to look closer, to ask, what part of me is allowing this? What part of me is attracting it? When someone is truly right for you, there will be a sense of ease. You won't constantly feel the need to explain yourself, to prove your worth, or to twist into a version of yourself that someone else finds acceptable. Real connection doesn't ask you to shrink. It invites you to expand. You'll know it's right not because it's perfect, but because it's peaceful. You can show up as you are, without fear of judgment or rejection. You can speak your truth and still be held with respect. You won't feel the need to hide parts of yourself or force a bond that isn't naturally flowing. That person will not complete you, they will complement you. Jung's concept of individuation, becoming your most authentic self, free from the masks society asks you to wear, reminds us that we attract people who reflect where we are on our personal journey. As you grow, you gain clarity. You stop confusing intensity with compatibility. You stop romanticizing struggle and start valuing peace. And with this clarity comes courage, the courage to release what no longer resonates. Because letting go is not a failure. It's an act of love for yourself and for the other person. Think for a moment. How many times have you clung to relationships that deep down you knew weren't right for you? Where love felt like a battlefield, where affection had to be earned, where simply being yourself seemed to trigger tension. This doesn't mean the other person is inherently wrong or toxic. It simply means there's a misalignment between who you are and what that relationship demands you to be. And that's okay. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some people enter your life to teach you, to challenge you, to help you grow, and then move on. Before we continue, I want to take a brief moment to share something with you. My book, written from years of personal insight and emotional discovery, is now available. It's filled with practical tools and heartfelt guidance to help you dissolve emotional blocks, develop deep self-love, and walk your own path with strength and clarity. You'll find the link in the description in the pinned comment. Now, let's return to this important conversation. Jung reminded us that our unconscious mind always seeks balance. If you persist in chasing relationships that exhaust you or leave you feeling unfulfilled, your body and mind will eventually send you distress signals. Anxiety, fatigue, restlessness, sleepless nights, physical pain with no clear cause. These are not just symptoms, they are messages, cries from within, urging you to shift. Because when a relationship is truly meant for you, it won't feel like a constant emotional battle. Yes, there may be disagreements. Challenges are part of life. But the connection will carry an undercurrent of trust, a quiet sense of belonging, a shared rhythm. Jung believed something even deeper, that real connection happens when souls recognize one another. It may sound mystical, but it's actually very grounded. Our souls are shaped by years of joy, pain, trauma, and healing. When someone comes into your life and awakens your spirit, helps you feel more yourself rather than less, that's meaningful. But even this doesn't guarantee permanence. Some soul connections are seasonal. They arrive to illuminate a part of your path, then gracefully exit. Yet their impact lingers, like a footprint in fresh snow, unchanged even after they've gone. On the other hand, if your relationships consistently leave you feeling like you must prove your worth or tiptoe around the fear of rejection, it's time to look within. Ask yourself, am I choosing this out of love or fear? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you settling because deep down you don't believe you deserve more? Jung taught that solitude is not a curse, but a sanctuary, a sacred space where we rediscover ourselves. When you learn to be truly comfortable in your own presence, you stop reaching for people out of desperation. And ironically, that's when the most genuine connections start to appear. The secret isn't in finding the right person. The secret is in becoming the right person for yourself. Because when you live authentically, the people who align with your truth will find their way to you. You won't have to chase them. You won't have to convince anyone of your value. You'll radiate it. And that will be enough. If you've ever felt that someone entered your life at just the right moment, someone who brought clarity, peace, or even necessary discomfort to trigger your growth, don't dismiss it. Life speaks through synchronicities, but only if you're willing to listen. The answers are never really out there, they're within, in your patterns, in your choices, in the quiet voice that whispers when something feels off. So ask yourself, what am I truly looking for in a relationship? What do I believe I deserve? What am I still trying to heal through others? Because here's the truth no one likes to say aloud. No one else can complete you. No one else can heal the wounds you avoid. No one else can give you the love you haven't yet given yourself. When the right person does arrive, they will not bring chaos into your life. They will bring clarity. Their presence won't drain you. It will energize you. Not because they are perfect, but because the connection will feel safe, real, and expansive. But to see that person clearly, you must stop choosing from fear. Stop choosing from emptiness. Stop chasing love as if it's something outside of you, because it's not. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." So, if you find yourself repeating painful relationship patterns, look closer. What is your unconscious trying to reveal? What story are you still reenacting? What beliefs about love, self-worth, or intimacy are still shaping your reality? You always have a choice. You can keep walking the familiar path, the one lined with comfort, predictability, and the pain you've learned to tolerate. Or you can take the path of uncertainty, the one that requires courage but offers transformation. The right person will not require you to betray yourself. They will invite you to become more of who you truly are. But first, you must become that person for you, because only then can you recognize in another what is truly meant for your soul. But here's the real question. Were you truly listening? Carl Jung often emphasized the immense power of intuition. He believed it to be the quiet voice of the unconscious, an inner compass that doesn't need logic or explanation to point us toward the truth. The rational mind can mislead you. It can twist facts to fit your desires. It can justify holding on to what clearly isn't meant for you. But your intuition? It never lies. It whispers the truth even when you don't want to hear it. When you feel discomfort, when you notice subtle signs that something's off, don't ignore them just because you're clinging to the idea of how things could be. The truth is, if someone is truly meant to be in your life, their presence won't cause a constant internal struggle. You won't feel like you have to earn their love, silence your needs, or shapeshift just to avoid conflict. One of the clearest signs that someone is truly aligned with your soul is peace. Not fireworks, not chaos, not emotional highs and lows that leave you breathless. And yet, so many people confuse intensity with love. They mistake emotional volatility for depth, as though the more dramatic a relationship is, the more real it must be. But genuine connection doesn't look like chaos. It feels like home. It feels like freedom, like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. It shows up as mutual respect, healthy boundaries, and effortless communication. If you've ever experienced this kind of peace with someone, where you could be fully, unapologetically yourself, you've tasted what Jung might describe as a soul-aligned connection. And yet, many of us have ignored our intuition in the past. We've stayed in relationships where the signs were clear, where from the very beginning something felt wrong. Still, we held on. Why? Because the fear of being alone can be louder than the quiet voice of truth. Because we're taught to believe that love must hurt, that suffering is part of the package. Jung would tell us that these repeating patterns aren't random. They are your unconscious trying to heal old wounds by replaying them in new forms. And until you become aware, you'll continue to attract the same dynamics, over and over. Have you ever noticed how certain people enter your life precisely when you're going through a major transformation? That's not random. That's synchronicity, a concept Jung described as meaningful coincidence. But synchronicity doesn't always bring us what we want. It brings us what we need in order to evolve. Sometimes, the people who show up in your life aren't the one in the romantic sense. They are mirrors. They reflect back to you the parts of yourself that need healing, acceptance, or release. So before asking whether someone is right for you, ask instead, what is this person reflecting back to me? Do they inspire growth? Do they challenge you to be more authentic? Or do they awaken your fears, your insecurities, your old wounds? If being with them makes you question your worth, if you constantly feel emotionally exhausted or anxious, that's not love, it's a lesson. And it's time to pay attention. Because love should never feel like walking on eggshells. You shouldn't feel like you're the only one fighting to make things work. If every step forward feels like dragging the weight of an entire relationship on your shoulders, ask yourself, is this connection born from love or from need? True love isn't a war you have to win. It doesn't demand that you lose yourself in order to be loved. Real connection is mutual. It's calm, it's clear. It's free of mind games and emotional manipulation. When someone is truly meant for you, the relationship won't be about survival. It will be about thriving. You won't have to abandon your dreams or mute your voice to make the relationship function. You won't need to explain your value, prove your love, or compete for attention. You'll simply be, and that will be enough. But to find this kind of connection, you must first ask yourself, am I ready to let go of what no longer serves me? Because here lies the contradiction. So many people say they want true love, yet they refuse to release the relationships that clearly aren't aligned. They hold on, they justify, they hope, they stay, waiting for change that never comes. Jung would remind us, nothing can grow in barren soil. If you continue pouring your energy into relationships that drain you, if you nourish connections that only bring pain, then you're simply repeating the same cycle under a different disguise. But the moment you choose yourself, the moment you walk away from anything that demands you to be less than who you are, that's when everything begins to shift. Suddenly, you start to attract people who see you, people who match your energy, not your wounds. It's not magic, it's alignment, it's resonance. So, if you're currently wondering whether someone is right for you, stop and get quiet. Remove the noise. Don't think about what you'll lose. Don't think about what could have been. Don't let fear or longing cloud your clarity. Instead, ask yourself, do I feel peace around this person? Do I feel free? Do I feel inspired? Or do I feel anxious, unsure, constantly struggling to keep the connection alive? Because love, real love, isn't supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to be a constant trial. When it's right, it won't feel like a performance or a balancing act. It will feel like ease, like grounding, like truth. And if you haven't yet found that person, don't panic. Don't assume something is missing in you. Instead, see this moment as sacred, as a space to deepen the most important connection of all, the one with yourself. Because when you finally stop searching outward to fill the voids within, when you choose to validate yourself, love yourself, and accept yourself fully, the right person doesn't need to be found. They'll recognize you just as easily as you'll recognize them. And when they do arrive, it won't be marked by overwhelming euphoria or addictive obsession. It will be calm, grounded, safe. A quiet certainty that settles into your soul and whispers, "This is it." You won't have to chase. You won't have to convince. You won't have to lose yourself in the process of being loved. You'll simply flow together. Jung taught us that true love is never about possession. It's about presence. It's about mutual respect. It's about honoring each other's individuality while walking side by side. The right person won't clip your wings. They'll help you fly higher. But here's something you must never forget. The right person can only enter your life when you've done the work to truly know and love yourself. Because if you're still trapped in cycles of fear, of codependency, of seeking validation outside yourself, you'll continue to attract relationships that reflect those wounds. Life won't give you what you wish for. It will give you what you're emotionally able to receive. So, if you want love that's real, start by becoming real with yourself. Next time you ask, "Is this person the right one?" ask first, "Am I being the right one for me?" Because when that answer is yes, you won't need to search anymore. What's meant for you will simply arrive and stay. And if this message speaks to your heart, if any part of this journey reflects your own, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Are you still searching? Have you found someone who brings peace into your life? Your words might be the light someone else needs today. And if you know someone who needs this message, please share it with them. Help me reach more people who deserve to understand that true love does not demand self-betrayal, that healthy relationships do not require constant struggle, and that the most powerful connection of all is the one you have with yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. Here, we explore the inner world, your mind, your heart, your soul, and how your relationships reflect the deepest parts of you. And if there's a topic you'd love me to cover in the future, leave a comment. Your voice is a vital part of this community. Thank you for being here, for walking this path of awareness, healing, and evolution. And remember this, when the right person comes, you'll know. But before they arrive, make sure you have already arrived for yourself. See you in the next one.